Hello my friends, this is Wakeangel2K1 coming at you with a toy review, and I gotta say, I kinda put the blame for this squarely on Bolt Matrix, another YouTube toy reviewer. I'm gonna link to the video that inspired this below, but suffice to say, he did a review of the Spark Armor Optimus Prime from Transformers Cyberverse, and Optimus's Spark Armor was a silver jet, which turns into his armor, and I thought, hey, that jet looks a lot like Leader 1 from the GoBots. And then I thought, huh, Leader 1 from the GoBots is kind of cool. And I never had a Leader 1. I had exactly one GoBot toy when I was a kid, and it turned into a gun. So, they kind of did do an updated version, and, well, that's how this happened. So, yeah, Bolt Matrix, you're to blame. So this is Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos Eagle Robo, made by Action Toys. Part of the Machine Robo series. The Machine Robo series is basically just updated third-party GoBots toys. And this is Leader 1, who was, of course, the heroic leader of the good guys. The Defenders, the Protectors, the good guy GoBots. I don't know anything about GoBot lore. All I really know about the GoBots is that technically speaking, the toy line is older than Transformers by a couple years, but Transformers got a cartoon first, got to be the way more popular toy line, and that's why Transformers is one of the biggest toy franchises to ever exist, while GoBots are only now getting modern reimaginings. So let's get him out of the box and take a look at Eagle Robo, who I'm just going to call Leader 1 because that's a lot shorter. So here is Leader 1 taken out of the packaging. He looks pretty darn cool. He comes with this gun that dismantles into bits for his jet mode. A thingy, which I'm guessing is an adapter for a stand. And then he comes with all of this stuff. This is a rather intricate display base for him, which I will get into in a bit. And he comes with an instruction sheet, which is really... it's kind of crappy. It's literally photos with the parts you need to move highlighted, but it's not always very intuitive where everything moves, so it was actually quite difficult to figure out how this worked. So the instructions kind of suck. Like, it's literally just one sheet front and back, which is unusual. I expect that kind of thing from a Transformer, not from a third-party figure. And there is a handy little guide here that lets you know things you need to do to make sure you don't accidentally break him while you're transforming him. Like what you're doing to the head when you're transforming, that you got to do the upper body before you do the legs, all that kind of stuff. So let's take a look at this dude. He is, well, let's get in some size comparison. I figure since he's the leader of the GoBots, we should put him next to the leader of the Autobots. And as you can see, he's pretty small. He only comes up to about a little bit higher chest high. Yeah, he comes up chest high to Optimus Prime, putting him about the size of a deluxe, maybe a hair shorter than a deluxe. Although he'd certainly be bigger than any of the Warrior class figures from the cartoon toy lines, but as far as the regular generations go, he is roughly deluxe sized. But just because he's deluxe sized does not mean he's deluxe quality, because this is a nice hefty chunk of toy. There is legit die-cast metal in him. As you can see, his sick abs are totally die-cast metal, and there is metal in those feet. Not so much that it would throw him off balance. Like a little bit of metal back here, metal in the waist, some metal in the feet. Just enough to make him feel cool and weighty. And his chest is metal. Metal. The cockpit's plastic. And the paint match from the metal parts to the plastic parts are very well done. Only difference is that I say the metal parts are slightly shinier, but that's okay. His head is pretty interesting looking. Like they're not going with some kind of superhero face. He just looks like a dude wearing a flight mask, which that's pretty cool. Really skinny neck. I think that's kind of a nod to how spindly the original toy used to be. But he can totally look up. Like you can have this guy like he is superhero flying, man. Yeah. So yeah, when you want a guy that can fly, like that's a good posture for your head to take. And it's on a stalk, which can go forward, so you can actually look down. that looked kind of creepy and unnatural, but you know, he's not a human, he's a robot, man. So articulation, I just started getting into it. Shoulders, very free. Ball joint on a swivel. Double jointed elbows, I can get a 180 degree curl. A ball joint at the wrist, I can go some downward movements as well as rotate. There is a bicep swivel. There is waist movement. He has ball jointed hips, which can't go a full splits, but they can go pretty wide, wider than I can do. Nice big ball joint in that hip with a swoop. A very tight swivel that is tighter than the... Wow. A very tight swivel. Like, that ball joint is not exactly loose, but it comes out before the thigh swivel wants to actually turn. So, it is a thigh swivel, but you're going to have to brace the hip. There's a knee, but it gets blocked by the wing. If you unfold the wing, then you actually kind of have like a double joint knee going on because of the additional transformation joint. Yeah. Yeah. If there's one thing, I feel like his shins don't really peg very well. I guess that is just supposed to be like a double jointed knee. And then he has foot articulation. The whole foot is on an ankle ball joint, and then his toes and his heel can move for transformation. So he is very dynamically posable and can and has plenty of articulation to do any Leader 1 thing that you want him to do, which is cool because the original toy basically didn't have any articulation. To hold his gun, you put the handle in there, and then there's a clip that braces itself into a slot in his forearm, so the gun can solidly stay in his grip, and you don't have to worry about his wrists being too limp, because it is a ball joint, which normally wouldn't have that much friction. So, yeah, that's pretty boss. Like 5 barrels of doom there. So, yep. Pretty darn epic. And I do believe this attaches like that, or like this. Oh, there. Yes, that goes in like that to give you a peg for his display stand. So why don't we take a look at that display stand, because let's get it out of there and assemble it and see what it looks like. So there we go, he's on the display stand. There's actually no assembly instructions. You're just given 2 pictures and you kind of have to just assemble it based on those pictures. So here it is in the first form, that like sloped one with the support arm. Look at that. Goes in right there into the plug. Now here's the thing, this is like a dichotomy, because like the arm itself, like those are really tight ratchets that do not move by accident, but the attachment point on the base is just kind of held in with these friction tabs that don't even really snap into place. So this part will come right out while you're adjusting the arm. So it's kind of weird. So like it's rock solid in one way, but really loose and gimpy in another way. I think this is actually meant to display him in his play mode, because it doesn't really do much for him in his robot form. So why don't I try assembling it in the alternate form real quick, just to get a look. Well, I gotta say, you don't even get enough parts. Like, look at the second build mode. You see how it has like these 2 things on the sides and then things in the back? Well, that's a complete lie, because it doesn't come with enough of those parts. I mean, I guess it kind of looks okay as a display stand, although he's just kind of standing there. There's nothing holding him in place whatsoever. But yeah, and like I found a place to stick like the ratcheted hinges and the butt plug thingy. But yeah, like you don't have the rails on the sides. You only have the rails on top. I mean, you can put these on the sides, but then it wouldn't be as tall. Like, I don't get why they show one configuration when you don't get enough parts for that. Anyway, let's not concentrate too much on the stand, and let's take a look at his plane mode, because that's like 90% of the reason why you want to get this guy. So let's take a look at his plane. I'm not going to do the transformation on screen because, like I said, it's really fiddly and difficult, and there's some fragile components that I don't want to mess up. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that off camera. Alright, this is one hella clean looking plane mode, I gotta tell you. But it's not completely done yet. I just wanted to show, like, if all you have is the robot itself, this is what you get. Very clean, very nice, but the gun comes apart into 4 components. 2 of them are obviously missiles that go under the plane's wings, but then these 2 are components that go into the sides of the plane. Let's see. Can I do this one on camera at the very least? It's kind of awkward. I believe it goes in... Here, yes. Yes, it goes in... there. Yes, and it slides in, and it forms a very nice brace that holds the wing. Make sure it doesn't fold down on you. I think that's pretty cool. Although the wing itself does peg in solidly enough that I don't feel like it's gonna flop down. But it's nice to know that they put these in just so you have that extra little bit. And then the missiles. If you ever had a Starscream or any of the other Seekers, you know where that goes. So just plop them in, and you got missiles. And this is a pretty good F-15. Like, I think it's one of the best F-15s I've ever seen. Even has perfectly good landing gear. Check this out. Just pull that out. Boom. 2 und 3. And look at that. Position the camera just a little bit so you can get a good profile view. That is beautiful. I mean, look at how little underkibble there is. I mean, I don't... Like, aside from the colors, like, boom, his hips are there, but the rest of it is so clean. I haven't seen a jet mode this clean since the classic Seeker. This is beautiful. It's actually most of the reason to get the toy, in my opinion. And here he is mounted up on his little flight stand. This configuration definitely works better when it's in plane mode. Yep. I like how, like, those nice stiff ratchets mean that you can actually really position this thing. Look at that. Look at that. It's so cool. And this is where that really clean undercarriage comes from, because, like, this just looks like a plane mounted in a display stand. Like, I bet if I didn't tell someone that it was a transformer, well, a GoBot, but, you know, it can transform. If I didn't tell somebody that, they might just think that I had a little plane, because it looks that good. And look, there is a little seat in the cockpit. It's kind of hard to see, but there it goes. Yeah, so they got the details in there too. Except that's the problem. Like, why did they go through the effort to make this so stiff and reliable, but then the pegs that hold it onto the base are so weak? Look, they almost don't... There's almost no friction actually holding them in. That's pathetic. There we go. That should hold it steady for a bit. Yeah, I mean, like, compare a recent Jetformer and Windblade. Like, from the top it looks okay, but from the bottom it's just blatantly a robot body. Like, this particular version didn't even bother to do anything to hide her arms, like, at all. At least the first Windblade mode did the first Windblade mold from the Generations line, Thrilling 30, they made something of an effort. Like, her arms at least went under the wings, but this one, they're just blatantly at her sides. Like, that just looks like Windblade standing at attention with no head. So, yeah. Like, this is really just awesome. Like, I love how there's no underkibble. This jet mode, Aside from that one little thing with this, the stand, I'm not gonna worry about the stand anymore. But this is so beautiful. Ah, I love this jet mold. This is such a cool jet. It is, and it is so iconically, unmistakably Leader 1. You know, like you wouldn't think that this is Starscream, for example, because you know Starscream just doesn't look like this. Even when Starscream is an F-15, he just doesn't look like Leader 1. Like it's a thing of beauty. Like I love the proportions. I love everything about this jet mode. This is like the robot mode is pretty awesome. I won't take that away from it. But darn, this is just one of the sexiest jet modes I've ever seen a transforming robot toy. I love it. I love this jet mode. I can spend the rest of the night gushing about how awesome this jet mode is. So if you are feeling particularly nostalgic for the red-haired little brother of the Transformers toy line, or rather its much less successful older brother because it is an older toy line, or maybe you just really like a nice, sexy, clean jet transformation, then this is the toy for you. Machine Robo series. It's not a cheap toy. It's like $47 or so from Big Bad Toy Store, but like it's not a disappointing toy once you get it. Like if you're into this kind of thing, like I don't really collect high-end third-party Transformers very often, but when I do, it's an iconic character that I can really get behind, and this is definitely one of those. So this is Wakeangel2K1 recommending third-party GoBot Leader 1. So yeah, I'm going to sign off because I don't really know how to do a good outro.